Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm going to talk about how to build your business if you lack the time or financial resources to do so. I meet a lot of people where this is their situation that they're in. And I get it. I have two kids under 2 years old. I lack the time resources that most people do to build a business, even to record videos like this. But what I've done is I've developed strategies to be able to do this over the last couple of years. And part of what we mentor people on is how to automate your business as well as create evergreen marketing that way you don't have to be working tons of hours to be able to do the stuff in your business to get them done. And what I've noticed is actually one of the biggest things that stops people is not that they lack time or finances, but it's rather they just don't know what to do, and they've never thought about it creatively. And then they're being harsh and critical of themselves that they don't know these things, like as if they were supposed to know them already. Can I tell you this? Like, it's not anybody's fault at all that you don't know this stuff. And so that's why I'm making this video right here, because I actually want to give you some of those ideas and resources. What I do every single day, for those of you that I haven't met, is I help coaches, mentors, trainers, course creators scale their businesses to multiple 6 and 7 figures. I personally built multiple businesses in this space, over 8 figures. It's over $10 million a year in profit. And I mentor people every single day on doing this in their business. And this constantly comes up because I can teach you all the strategies for your marketing, for promotion, social media, content creation, sales, lead generation, funnels, all of that. But at the end of the day, if you're not executing, getting stuff out there, consistently promoting your business, and you find that you don't have the time to do so, or maybe of the time that you do, you don't want to do it, you feel demotivated, it's not fun for you, maybe you're dreading it, or you just don't have the time, period. And because you don't have the time, you also don't have the finances to hire other people to do it for you. And so that's generally the people that I work with the most, is they fall into that category, because again, that's what I believe is, if you're able to know how to overcome that limitation, nothing is impossible for you. And so without having the financial resources to hire other people and outsource, I would recommend outsourcing as quickly as possible. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about outsourcing in this video, but for most people, that's not an option for them, because they don't have the finances to be able to outsource. Outsourcing means hiring people to be able to do the stuff for them, to build their landing pages, to build their funnels, to create all this stuff. And depending on if you're hiring people overseas, that might run you a couple $1,000s a month to do that. And if you're hiring people locally in European or Western American economies, you're going to be in the range of tens of thousands of dollars a month in salaries just to have other people doing the work for you. And that's actually a normal going low end of the spectrum rate right there. Okay. In my own business, I have a team that's a hybrid. I got a couple of people here in the United States. I got some people that work for me in the Philippines, and combined salaries just to grow my business, it's about $2,000 a month. And so I'm spending this about $2,000 a month, about $25,000 a year, to scale my business. And now what's awesome is I only work 10 hours a week in my business. So what I've done is I figured out, okay, I got maybe 2 hours a day to build my business that I want to really focus building my business work. And then I outsource the rest of the activities. But what would you do if you don't have the ability to outsource? That's what I want to talk about today. Is I want to talk about, what do you do if you lack the time and financial resources? Number one, you have to make the time for what you have to get done. You're going to have to carve out at least an hour or two a day to build a business of some kind. If you have a business, if you want to build a business, and this is one of the biggest areas that, listen, if you're unwilling to do this, you're going to struggle. Give up Netflix time, give up video gaming time, give up. And by the way, I love Netflix and video games myself. I love reading novels. I love this type of stuff. But sometimes certain priorities are more important. Certain things are more important. And so, maybe like for me, sometimes the baby's taking a nap. Football might be on. I love football. But I got to go record a piece of content here real quick. And I'm going to take that time because I'm prioritizing what's important in those time slots. And so it's important to actually make the time for what we can do. And that's where what we end up really realizing, and it all boils down to, is a couple of things. We're overthinking everything. We're allowing perfectionism to get in there. We're allowing the fear of, is it going to be accepted by other people? What are other people going to think about the things that we do? And then this ends up bubbling up inside of us. And then that's where a lot of times what I find is people's time management, the reason why they're procrastinating, the reason why they're not doing the work is actually stuff that's beneath the surface that they're trying to avoid. Stuff that's uncomfortable, that they don't want to talk about, that they don't want to look at. Okay? And so for you to actually go ahead and successfully build your business, we cannot allow perfectionism to control us. We cannot allow that need for it to all be perfect. Doing everything perfect is not a spirit of excellence. It's not. It's actually the very opposite of it. Because there's no such thing as perfect, and things can always be improved upon. And so done is better than perfect. And what I find is that actually having time constraints, having artificial deadlines, having a limited amount of time to get stuff done. Today I gave myself 30 minutes to write a sales letter for a client that was paying me tens of thousands of dollars to do this in their business. But I really only had like 30 minutes to do this. And so what I did was I was able to, in that constraint, I wrote an incredible sales letter in 30 minutes. I'm going to review it tomorrow. And it's going to close millions of dollars in sales for the client. I know it is. Because the last sales letter we created them did that. And the one before that did that as well. Okay? And so in this, the time constraint allowed me to get really focused with my time. And then moving past the perfectionism, moving past the overthinking. And oftentimes, again, we got to look at what is beneath the surface. One of the things that we might need to do is find enjoyment in doing things that we maybe dislike doing. Find enjoyment in doing things that we dread, that we're fearful about, that we're not sure, is this going to be comfortable? And I find that human beings, we have an incredible ability to do this, to endure hardship. This is unfortunately why people find themselves in abusive relationships. This is one of the pieces why, is because they can endure abuse for a long period of time. Now, we're not talking about abuse here. We're not talking about self-abuse here. But we're talking about the fact that sometimes in your business, there are activities, there are things you don't know how to do. There are things that maybe you dread doing. There are things that you just feel like you're going to cry when you do it. If you can train your brain to find enjoyment in doing those things, you shift your perspective to where you're enjoying doing the hard things, to where you're finding it fun to do those things. You will be able to do far more than you ever imagined. And then it's all about being consistent. It's all about consistently showing up. It's about putting yourself out there to people, marketing your business, promoting it, and every single week being a reliable resource and authority in your field, somebody that people can look up to, a resource that solves a problem for people that are out there. When you can do this, my YouTube channel is that for people. It's a resource people can come to learn and to grow in their business. My coaching program is a resource for this. I've developed the structure and the systems in my life and in my business to be able to do this. But it's about showing up and it's about doing the work. Okay? And so if you lack the time, we got to make the time. And if we lack the finances, we got to do the things that we don't want to do. Those are really the only options that we have. And so how can we make the best of that and rise above this? And oftentimes what ends up happening is we end up overthinking the process. We're stuck in analysis paralysis. We're stuck in trying to make everything perfect. We're struggling to make the decisions of what we should do. We're unsure of what decisions to make. That's where having the power of being in a community, in a coaching group, is really amazing. Having the accountability of being in a group like that, like what we have in my Client Growth Accelerator program, where you can bounce ideas off of other people, where you can ask for help on things that you're unsure about, and you can get clarity and focus on what are the activities that are really going to move the needle forward for you. And so if you find yourself struggling in these ways, one of the best things that you can do is get around a community of people that are actually doing the work. They're actually doing the hard things. Okay? And then from there, you start to do the individual stuff, building out your landing page, growing your email list, building out a lead magnet, starting to do webinars, presentations, maybe launch an ebook, launch a video course that then you can use, or a mini class that then sells people on your coaching or your programs. And that might sound daunting to you today. That might sound like, oh my gosh, it's just so much work. Then I got to make social media content, then I got to promote it, then I got to do all that. Just take it one step at a time. Just take it one piece at a time. What's going to end up happening is that all the stuff you have to do in your business is going to become like autopilot. It's going to become like something that's as easy as breathing for you. And it's the same as when you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth. It's just part of what you do every day. That's what it is for me in my business, is I've literally created a habit structure in my life and in my business of doing the stuff that moves the needle forward. I have a habit and a routine structure that allows me to not let my excuses take over. Okay, I lack time today. I have a structure that I'm going to shift things to tomorrow. And if I shift it more than 2 days, how do I adjust for that? And those are systems that we can start to develop inside of our life to be able to accomplish far greater than we ever imagined, just by simply white knuckling it or just trying to push forward. What you want to do is you want to get into a flow state where you're not white knuckling it, where you're not striving. I don't strive in my business. I don't strive in my personal life. I don't strive in my finances. I go with the flow, and I've created a flow where every day is fun, exciting, and I show up and everything just works. It's a system that works and it comes together. And I get to work from home and I get to spend time with my family and I get to have a life that I only ever dreamed of years ago. And that's exactly what you can have as well. And so again, if that's something that you want, I'd love to work with you in my Client Growth Accelerator program. I'd love to walk you through how do you set up all these different things in your business? How do you actually create the resources that you need? How do you start promoting your business? How do you grow your email list and generate leads? How do you market to people the right way? And then how do you sell to them so that you can have consistent income, so that you can have massive impact, and so that things are dialed in to where you have the financial and time freedom that you want. And that's exactly what we do inside of my Client Growth Accelerator program every single week. I'd love to work with you in that. Make sure to check out some of the free classes that we have below this video and stay plugged in to our content. If you got any questions, reach out to me on Instagram or X or Facebook or even in the comments below this video. And listen, I know no matter what situation you're in, you can accomplish great things. You're not stuck. You're not limited by just your situation. You can do far greater than you ever imagined when you just decide to stay focused, to stay consistent, to not let your excuses take over. You know, it might sound harsh to say that, but just take it one step at a time. What's one hard thing that you've been putting off that you can say, I dread doing this, but let me see if I can find some fun and enjoyment in it. Maybe it's learning a new class. Maybe it's watching another YouTube video or a couple of the different YouTube videos that are on this channel right here. That might be a great thing for you to do, a great practice for you if you're watching this right now. Watch some of the other YouTube videos that we have on here. And then start to implement, start to do the individual steps. Start to Develop out your sales copy, create your landing pages, start promoting offers, growing your email list, and selling to create the kind of business that you want. Okay? So, this has been great. I've had a great time talking here today with you. Would love to see you in my accelerator program. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.